Manavi Dhaanya Thasnem.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. I am Dhaanya Thasnem. This year I am in class 10. I am from Mahatma Matriculation High Secondary School, Baba Building, Madurai, Tamil Nadu. Our senior principal cum managing director, Mrs. Premlata Paneerselvam. She wishes her students to wishes her student to explore new things around the world. I participated in science essay writing competition, which was conducted by Go4Guru. The topic which was given was Dr. Kalam. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, my hero. Not only myself, my fellow students are eagerly waiting for to take the US trip, where we learn everything practically. I gratefully thank Go4Guru and Mahatma schools for giving this opportunity. Once again, I thank God Almighty for the same.
Thomas.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. As you heard, my name is Don Thomas. I had the amazing opportunity to fly on 4 space shuttle missions, spending 44 days in space. And as you heard, I went around the Earth 692 times during those missions. So I have seen a lot of our planet. And I first dreamed of going into space when I was only 6 years old. And when I was 6 years old, the United States launched our first astronaut to space. As a young boy, I watched that launch and I said, I want to do that. That was my moment of inspiration. And it inspired me to work hard in school, to always do my best in math and science and all my subjects. So I always had this dream that motivated me to work hard, to achieve becoming an astronaut. And it took me many years to get there. I was 35 years old when I finally got selected to be an astronaut. And I was 39 years old the first time I made it to space. But it all started with that moment of inspiration, which is what Go4Guru is doing every day, sending students to NASA, Kennedy Space Center, bringing them to the United States, exposing them to American universities. This is the moment of inspiration for that next generation. And I retired from NASA 12 years ago. I've been working in education since. And I think it's very important, not only that I flew in space, that I can help inspire that next generation. The astronauts that land on Mars are our young students today in the classroom, this generation right here. And that's why we're so proud to have you here today. And I think you're going to have a great, great time at the Kennedy Space Center. I know you are. But this is our future. Our future doctors, lawyers, scientists, engineers, our future astronomers, our future astronauts. This is that generation, and so it is so important to inspire them, which is why I'm so happy to partner with Go4Guru to help out with these programs. We'll be speaking to 25,000 students this week. We hope we can inspire them and get them excited about just working hard, becoming scientists, engineers, maybe astronauts going to Mars in the future. September 7th, you have a great event happening here, right? Landing on Mars, landing on the moon. Yeah, on the South Pole, which is so incredible. NASA's hoping to land astronauts there in about 5 years, but nobody has landed at the South Pole. So your mission will be the first time that we've ever done that, and that's where we think there's ice, water down near the South Pole. And this is so critical. I just think it's so fantastic that you're doing this now, and it'll be a great assistance to the other countries as we begin our lunar exploration, our next phase of that. So I'm very proud to be here this week. This is my 3rd visit to India, my first to Chennai in southern India, and I'm just very excited to be here. I know how warm and hospitable the people are here. I love the Indian food. I always eat too much when I come here, but it's always a great pleasure. So I've flown on 4 missions, and the most exciting part of the mission to space is the launch. It only takes 8.5 minutes to get to space. That was always amazing to me. It takes longer than that to drive from the airport to here, right? And in 8.5 minutes, you're in space. 300 kilometers above the Earth, traveling at 27,000 kilometers an hour. And so when I laid on my back on my first mission, I could feel the vibration, hear the roar of the engines as the shuttle came to life. And at the moment of liftoff, I felt the push in my back, knowing that I had taken off. And having dreamed of this moment my whole life, it was such an exciting event to feel the push of the rocket, to know that I was heading to space. And then 8.5 minutes later, the engine shut down. It's perfectly quiet and you're in space. And once we got to space, I unstrapped out of my seat, I floated to the window, and I had my first view of planet Earth from space. And I had seen many pictures of the Earth before, but when I saw it with my own eye, I was in shock. I went, oh, it's so beautiful, it takes your breath away. You'll hear the astronauts always gasp, oh, like that when they see the Earth for the first time. The sky is a darker black color than I've ever seen before. And right up against it is the limb of the Earth with our very thin atmosphere glowing bright blue. And our atmosphere just looks like a paper-thin layer, very thin layer. So it immediately, as soon as you look at the Earth, you realize how fragile our planet is and the need to take better care of planet Earth. And every astronaut comes back with that message of we have to take better care of our planet. It's fun floating around in space. That's a lot of fun. On my missions, we did a lot of science, like we do today up on the International Space Station, looking at how fires burn in zero gravity, how liquids behave. We take up many small plants and animals to see how they grow and adapt in zero gravity. And a lot of what we're doing today on the International Space Station is preparing us for missions to Mars in the future, so that this generation can get there safely and get back to a planet Earth again. Well, at the end of the mission, when it was time to come home, we'd fire some engines in our shuttle and we would fall back to Earth. It takes 8.5 minutes to get to space, about an hour to return, and I was always very happy to come back to Earth. I love my time in space. It was beautiful to see the Earth from orbiting the planet from above, but I was always very excited about coming back to Earth, because this is where my friends are, this is where my family is. We forget sometimes how beautiful our planet is, how special Earth is. And sometimes it takes a trip to space and then return where it really sinks in. Boy, this is where I want to live. I was never sad leaving space. I was always just very, very excited to be returning back to Earth. So I thank you all for being here today. We have an exciting week of 2 weeks of programs here, meeting the young students. And I very much dream that maybe 20 years from now, we have one of our students maybe setting foot on Mars. Maybe the first human to set foot on Mars. Maybe one of the students that we talk to this week or next here in southern India. Thank you.